become a major, not just national, but an international headline, because many people have pointed out that the new government of India proposed bill excludes large communities, whether it is newly married couples, whether it is live-in couples, and also gay community. Now, speaking for the very first time on it, we have the youngest minister of the Narendra Modi cabinet, Anupriya Patel. And on agenda, we always have an audience. What's interesting is today the audience is an audience that she can relate to. Anupriya Patel is from the Lady Shri Ram College. Many of our student audience members. How many of you from LSR? Okay, they're from there. And she also has an Amity school connection. And what were you doing?
I was in the Amity Behavioral Science department. I pursued my MA Psychology.
So the young minister has an intense connection with the audience today. But thank you so much for speaking to us about the surrogacy bill. When the government was discussing this bill, before it went to cabinet, did people anticipate that there would be such a strong reaction to it?
Look, surrogacy is a very controversial issue. And these kind of reactions are not really something which was never expected. And this is why we consulted 26 states. We consulted 40 stakeholders comprising of medical practitioners, doctors, NGOs, social activists, almost everybody. We also had, interactions with almost 18 ministries. Our group of ministers comprised of contributions from 7 different ministries. So we tried to virtually consult everybody possible and get into the process of drafting this bill. And we were quite prepared for these kind of reactions.
You were?
Yes, we were. And we are just wanting to communicate to the nation as a whole that surrogacy has become an illegal industry, and it's as big in size as $2 billion industry. And it has become a means of exploiting women from the poor, vulnerable sections, hailing from the rural and tribal backgrounds. Also children, when they get abandoned. So there are a whole lot of issues. We want to communicate to the nation that surrogacy should be the last option. And we in no way are going to promote the idea of commercial surrogacy. It's really not happening anywhere across the globe, except a few nations like Russia or Ukraine or few states of the US. Most of the countries in the world have completely banned commercial surrogacy, whether it is Australia, New Zealand, France, Spain, all these countries. So India now joins the list of many of such countries which have banned commercial surrogacy. So that means the world over, a consciousness has been created. Nobody across the globe wants to promote this idea. So why should India lag behind? We have to fight it out. It's a menace. It's exploiting our women. It's exploiting our society. So that was the basic idea at heart when we wanted to bring this bill. And it is yet to be introduced in the parliament. So we'll have another long rounds of deliberations and discussions. And many of the issues which we may not have touched so far, they may be addressed in the course of those discussions. So it's a very long process to go. And finally, I believe that the outcomes are going to be in the larger interest of the nation.
Okay, 2 things I wanted you to clarify on this. You said that people were getting exploited. Now, what many point out is that one, there are very few cases of, yes, for sure that there are conditions, especially in Gujarat and other places, which have had lots of these kind of what they call baby farms. Happening, lots of surrogacy, lots of women being there. So it is open to exploitation. So they welcome the fact that finally government has a bill which regulates it. But many are pointing out that the government is going on saying that children were abandoned, and yet there are hardly any reported cases of that. And what they want to point out, I just want to point out to our viewers, we've just made a list of all those people who can't have. So it looks like the government bill lists out the number of people who can't have surrogates. Have a surrogate baby, and it's a very long list. Homosexual couples, single parents, couples in live-in relationships, foreigners, couples with children, fertile couples, NRIs, women older than 50, I'm still going on by the way, couples with one surrogate child,
and those who don't have a willing relative. It's a very long list. So instead of protecting the exploited woman who needs protection, who needs her rights for the government to look out for them, that we are excluding the people.
Look, now you've asked too many questions in one question. I don't know which sub-question to address to first. First thing that you said that we don't have many reported cases. What I want to say is, just because...
I'm saying it on the basis of an RTI, which asked who are the people complaining, and the answer was they didn't have any reports.
I'm not denying what you said. What I'm saying is, just because incidences are not reported does not mean those things are not happening. Too much of crime is happening in our country against women. Not all cases go reported. But can we deny that incidences of crime have gone reasonably high against women? We can't. So same goes for surrogacy. We may not have many reported cases, but we all know this is happening. And that is why we sitting here at the Health and Family Welfare Ministry of the Government of India, we are a conscious and sensitive government. We realize the ground realities and we want to tackle the problems at the grassroots level. If you want to ask me about the gay couples, we have the Supreme Court which says 377. Let us first deal with it.
Okay.
Then I also have a point to say about the other live-in partners.
So it's not about our ethos, it's about Supreme Court.
Look, it's about our laws. It's about the system that we have in our country. We have to abide by the systems we have in our country. And another thing is that I'm really not denying the existence of gay couples or transgenders in our society. Maybe the Indian society is not really mentally or psychologically very well prepared to accept or give space to this section of the population today. But in course of time, it has to evolve in thinking and it has to be more accommodated for such people. As far as a surrogate child for such couples is concerned, I, as a woman, would say that a child needs a normal family. He needs a mother and a father. That's what nature demands, and that's what I feel. If you ask me about...
Which a couple is not going to give.
I don't think if the live-in couple tomorrow they decide to separate, what about the future of the child?
But that happens with married couples as well.
No, but another point is that there is a very, very small proportion of such individuals who are wanting to have a child through surrogacy. We are not here to take care of the problems of such a small section. We are focusing more on the problem which is at a larger scale.
Okay.
And if you ask me about the NRIs and the overseas Indian citizens, the biggest problem is that many of them, they come here, they have babies. When they go back to their respective countries, there are issues of citizenship involved. I can vaguely recollect an issue of a Japanese couple coming here. I mean, this is not an NRI case, but...
This was one of the first reported cases.
Yeah, this was the first trigger. They came here, they actually persuaded a woman to be a surrogate mother for their baby, and then in the course of the pregnancy, the couple got separated. And when they got separated, the child was abandoned. When the child was abandoned, after a long time, the grandmother took custody of the child, but till date, the child does not have the citizenship. There are also issues like when couples, they rent the wombs of mothers, and suppose there is a possibility of triplets or twins. The couples say that we are only going to take one child. The extra child is either killed by the doctor or abandoned. So we have to be very careful of these issues.
But that's the problem. Nobody has any figures, because we have NDTV, we pursued that they couldn't come up with figures of how many children have been abandoned. So instead of protecting those people, it seems that they were just curbing surrogacy. I know a lot of people have questions. Yeah, what was your question? Then we'll come back to those. Yeah, what was your question?
When it comes to having a relative to have a surrogate parent, in a country like India where the society is so intrusive in your personal life, don't you think, I feel that it'll be more problematic and people won't accept a relative being the surrogate parent than a stranger. A stranger is always a better, because the relative might always curb and have issues with the child.
Look, honestly speaking, in many parts of India, close relatives are offering to be surrogates for altruistic reasons. They are giving birth to babies for infertile couples, and they are handing over the child to the couple. This is happening in many parts of India, and we do not have any documented problems from either side. And another thing you asked was regarding it being more convenient with a stranger. I would show you another side of the coin. With a stranger, there is also a possibility that the person who has actually taken the services of womb renting from a particular woman, they also feel no connect with that woman, and anytime they feel that they can, just do away with that woman, or they can abandon the child, and they can just go, they can walk off. And there are so many cases. There is this case there's this Harihar Verma case, Anandi case. There's so many cases. That is why there were n number of PILs in the Supreme Court. There was this 228 Law Commission report which said that there is an urgent need to create a law and ban commercial surrogacy. And I remember one lawyer, Jayashree Wad, she actually took up this cause with a lot of dedication, because I agree with her that women in India are not baby factories. I would tell you, you would be surprised to know that if you consider the total number of births of children which have taken place through surrogate mothers, 80% of such births have been for foreign nationals. Why are they doing this? Are Indian women only made for this purpose?
But what about...
They are trying to escape the tough laws of surrogacy in their own homeland. They are coming to India because poor, vulnerable, tribal, rural women are easily available. You can do away with them, giving them petty amount of money. They don't understand the legal documents.